Chelsea in for a massive treat this summer, as Chelsea are planning a big summer with Thomas Tuchel to give him the reinforcements that he requires to bolster his current squad and challenge for the Premier League title next season. After listening to Fabrizio Romano's podcast, I'll also be discussing the latest rumours in regards to Declan Rice, Erling Haaland, Tammy Abraham and Olivier Giroud, the situation, the striker situation in regards to contracts. Tammy Abraham could be potentially leaving to make way for Erling Haaland to join. We're then going to be looking at the situation of Olivier Giroud. Could he potentially be extending and staying beyond the season? I'll be delving into all the latest news in regards to Chelsea. But before I do, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and comment down below your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. And getting into the first story, and again, it's the big one. It is the big one. It's broken by none other than the most reliable Fabrizio Romano. And obviously he does have a podcast. His podcast is called Here We Go. As you can see now, again, it is on Patreon, but it's essentially he was talking about Chelsea, specifically in regards to the striker situation and just transfer plans in general for Chelsea. And essentially he said that Chelsea are planning a big summer with Thomas Tuchel and they'll discuss transfer targets in April. The Blues are eyeing a striker and a centre-back as the top areas to bolster. Now, a few weeks ago I made a video because Matt Law released an article on Telegraph saying that the two positions that were priority were centre-back and striker. So now you have Matt Law, you have Fabrizio Romano, two extremely reliable top-tier Tier 1 journalists reporting the same thing. It's credible. It means it is true. It is true. The fact that we are targeting a centre-back and striker. And this is music to my ears. Obviously, we know the striker situation. We need a world-class striker because, listen, yeah, the food's getting delivered. Food's getting delivered, but no one's eating the food. It's just getting cold. So, we need to start scoring. We need to start putting our chances away. And, if you look at all the metrics, specifically for creativity, we are quite up there in regards to the Premier League, but it's putting the chances away. So, again, we need a world-class striker. But the centre-back news is exciting me because I've said this before. We have one world-class centre-back and he's near the age of 40. So, you can't write the script. You honestly can't. We've got one world-class centre-back in Thiago Silva. He's going to be 37 in September. And listen, you can't play every 3 days. The fact that he's this fit, this athletic at his age, you have to credit to him, his wife, and the fact that he has a fantastic diet and fitness, regime and good genetics. But, he can't play every 3 days. He just picked up an injury against Tottenham. He can't play a Wednesday, a Saturday, a Sunday, Tuesday. Come on, it's too much for his age. You need competent world-class centre-backs. And, you saw the mistake with Zuma against Southampton. And listen, Zuma has his strengths. He's one of the best aerial centre-backs in the Premier League. He has a really high percentage in regards to aerial duels. But his positioning and his reading of the game is really poor. You saw against Southampton, his positioning was terrible. He needs to be reading that. If you're an elite level centre back, you read the danger, you see that, you intercept that, and really poor from him. It's not the first time from Zuma. He's had this weakness, but when he was partnered with Thiago Silva, he had those covered up because Thiago Silva was marshalling that back line. He was telling Zuma where to position themselves. But now, against Southampton, he had really good Aspi beside him, who, let's face it, Aspi, he was world-class in his prime, but he's not even a natural centre-back. Not anymore. Really good, really getting world-class. So he's not going to have anyone telling him, listen, you've got to position yourself here. Right? And I don't think he's competent enough to be on his own. So, again, it looks like he might be out the door because I don't think Thomas Tuchel rates him that highly. I generally don't. He's not, as far as I'm concerned, he's fifth choice centre-back in this three-at-the-back formation, Thiago Silva's obviously first choice. Thiago Silva, really good. Azpilicueta seems to be our, favoured back three. And you can add in a bit of Reece James in that right centre-back role. And then now that Thiago Silva's been injured, Christensen's been favoured into that back three, which, listen, I completely agree. I completely agree with Thomas Tuchel's, answer and solution to this because Christensen is world-class at reading the game. He's elite at that specific detail and he's much better, compared to Zuma in that position. So I think, listen, I completely agree with Thomas Tuchel in that regard. So again, it's Zuma's fifth choice. It really depends on will Zuma be happy with that position. And if you're asking me, I don't think he will. He is a good enough centre-back to be starting for, a mid-table club, potentially club pushing for Europa League. Whether that's an Aston Villa, definitely. Whether that's an Everton, he could go back to Everton. He definitely starts for these clubs. I don't think that he would be willing to be fifth choice sitting in the reserves bench for Chelsea. So we'll have to wait and see. Everything will be evaluated very, very soon. We've got tough fixtures coming up. We need to be focusing on that, putting our energy towards that. And I'm very certain and sure Thomas Tuchel and the Chelsea hierarchy will be making a decision on Kurt Zuma and various outgoings in the upcoming summer window. But it looks like Zuma will be heading out the door, meaning that we need a world-class centre-back. As much as I love Christensen, who is fantastic, Thiago Silva's 37, and I don't think Rudiger is good enough at that level. He's a good centre-back, but he's not elite level. So I think that we need the elite level centre-back. Who are the targets? I've named a few of them. Again, it's really unclear because David Alaba is a player that we want, but he wants to play midfield and he looks Madrid bound. Marquinhos is a perfect replacement. Again, will he leave Paris Saint-Germain? So many question marks up in the air. So we don't know, but I guess as the weeks and months go by, there'll be a more clearer image of who our targets are, really, genuinely. As I said, as Fabrizio's confirms, Thomas Tuchel will be discussing transfer targets at the hierarchy in April. So everything, all will be clear, all will be revealed in April when we see the little snippets and the rumours and everything getting released, in time in April. Now, a player, Declan Rice. Declan Rice is a new player that I'll be speaking about, and what can I say? TalkSport, take it away. Now, according to TalkSport, West Ham value Declan Rice in excess, hear this right, excess of £100 million. Excuse me. And won't entertain any offers south of that fee. Chelsea and Manchester United have been previously linked, with the Blues believed to have called their interest. I mean, Jesus Christ, man. North of £100 million. Excess of £100 million, yeah? So according to TalkSport, Declan Rice is going to cost more than Erling Haaland. Like, you've got to be joking, man. You cannot be serious. You honestly cannot be serious with this. What? Listen, Declan Rice is a very good player. He's a competent player. He's one of West Ham's best player. He's a young player, I believe, 21, 22. That he has fantastic captaincy, leadership skills. He's good on the ball. He's a good defensive midfielder, tall, physical, Premier League proven. I like him. There's a lot of positives with Declan Rice. However, is he world class? You can answer that. Of course, he's not world class. Is he worth excess of £100 million? Of course not. He's not worth anywhere near that value. For me, he's a 40 tops £50 million player. Right? He's nowhere near his prime. He's nowhere near the finished article. And if you're paying £100 million, at least £100 million for Declan Rice, you have to be off your rocket. How can you be paying £100 million for Rice? That is a criminal offence. If any club pays £100 million for Rice, the CEO or executive needs to be jailed as soon as possible with immediate effect. That is an embarrassment. You cannot do that as a criminal offence. Don't make me laugh. £100 million for Declan Rice. Come on, man. Not even Dortmund are charging that for Erling Haaland, who is actually a generational talent. Come on. Honestly, I was drinking a bit of tea and I spat it straight out. He's a good player, but he's nothing generational. He's nothing world class. What is it that makes him worth £100 million? The fact that he's English? Come on, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Now, what do you guys think? This is absolutely ludicrous. The fact that he's going to cost excess of £100 million. Luckily, Chelsea have called it interest. Rightly so. I think that once Lampard left, of course, our interest called anyway because he was a Lampard target. He wasn't a Chelsea hierarchy target, but this is insane, man. Honestly, what am I reading? This is crazy. But moving on to the final story, and that is in regards to the striker situation, as Fabrizio and Matt Laws confirmed. And I'll be speaking about Erling Haaland, Olivier Giroud, and Tammy Abraham specifically. Now, according to the Telegraph, Chelsea and Olivier Giroud will wait until the end of the season before a decision is made on his future. Now, as you read into the Athletic article, Olivier Giroud hasn't ruled out extending his contract at Chelsea. Tammy Abraham is not interested in discussing an extension to his contract, while the club casts admiring glances at Erling Haaland. It would be prudent to convince Giroud to stay. That is according to the Athletic, and again, Athletic is a very reliable English publication with the top journalists around Europe. So again, it's legitimate news. And this is interesting. Now, we know the fantastic, magnificent bicycle king Giroud scored last night, and he's been a fantastic servant. £18 million bargain. Top goal scorer in our run to win the Europa League. He guided us to an FA Cup victory, gained us another trophy there. He guided us and helped us to attain top 4 last season, and now he scored a crucial goal away at Atletico. So for me, it's money well spent in regards to Olivier Giroud. Now again, this is really good news. Preferably, I would keep Giroud over Tammy Abraham. Now, a lot of you guys may be surprised, but I don't think Tammy Abraham is elite level and not good enough to play for Chelsea, not even second fiddle. Giroud's got a lot more experience. His game is a lot more tidier. He's got good link-up play. He's an aerial presence. He offers another dimension off the bench that other strikers don't. He's completely different to your Werners or your Haalands that could potentially come to Chelsea. So having another player that offers a different dimension off the bench can cause teams different problems. And for depth-wise, Giroud is the perfect player. So the fact that he's potentially extending is fantastic news. Now, again, if Giroud stays, that means Tammy will have to go, because Chelsea want to strengthen and bolster in the striking position, and they're adamant that Erling Haaland is the man. So therefore, if we're signing Erling Haaland, how can you have Erling Haaland, Werner, Giroud, Tammy? You know, one of them is barely going to get any game time as it is. So again, Erling Haaland, he slots straight into the team. He starts, full stop. Werner, he's not an out-and-out striker. He'll probably play with Haaland either as a 2 up front or as a number 10 in the left half space in between lines, where that's his best position, like a left inside forward. And then you've got a backup to a Haaland, like a Giroud or Tammy. But if Giroud's staying, then I think Tammy will go. You know, Tammy is at an age right now, at the age of 22, 23, where he needs to develop his game. He needs to require game time to develop, you know, hit his prime, reach his peak. And I think that Chelsea, he won't get that sufficient game time. I don't think he's good enough to start for Chelsea. Again, he's good enough for a mid-table Premier League club, but I don't think that Chelsea is the suitable club for him, especially in this moment in time. So I think that Tammy Abraham should be leaving. He's not interested in, extending his contract either. So again, if he's not going to extend, his current deal expires in 2023. So if he's not going to extend, Chelsea have to cash in this summer. He's got 2 years left. This is the best time to cash in to get the maximum value from, Abraham, whether that's 25 million, between 25 to 35 million. This is the perfect time to cash in. So for me, that's my personal opinion. What do you guys think? Would you rather keep Abraham or Giroud? Leave me your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. If you did enjoy this news, leave a video to smash the like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and I'll see all of you guys for my next video. Peace.